What's going on, everybody? Jim here from Clockwork Industries. Welcome back to another Clockwork Gaming video for Diablo Immortal. So, I know it's been a minute. I've been slammed with work the last, about 4 weeks, maybe. And I've been doing a live stream every day on Twitch. I'll put a link down in the description. In fact, once this video goes live, or goes up on YouTube, I should be live on Twitch as well. So hit that link, come on over and hang out. We're going to be doing some Battlegrounds. And speaking of Battlegrounds, I want to go over the most recent PvP build that I've been using, and I put up a PvP build a while back for the monk because I was not using Shield of Zen, because basically in the matches that I'm in it gets knocked off in one hit maybe. But I ended up going back to using it again, and I also am using the Sanctuary Stun Circle. So I'm going to go through this build. It's been really effective for the way that I play the monk in the Battlegrounds, and also giving me some ability to kind of control the map and be somewhat effective when I get bumped up into the whale matches, where I'm going to get one shot pretty much by someone with 7,000 resonance. And when there's 3 or 4 of those people on each team, you're basically just fodder. You're just a corpse to collect kills for the other team or whatever. But in doing this, what I can do is the stun circle is so disruptive and so annoying for all the melee classes that running this build is perfect for where I'm at, where I float between like the 2 tiers. Like I might have a match where it's all, 2,000 to 4,000 resonance players, maybe 1 or 2 5Ks, and then every once in a while I get bumped up where there's a 6 or 7K or a couple of them on each team, and I kind of sit between that bracket. I really have no idea how they matchmake in this game, and I hope that is something that is taken into consideration with this new upcoming PvP update, and they start focusing a little bit more on the PvP aspect of this game. I'm hoping that some of the new hires for Blizzard are going to be working on this as well. I know DM put out a video not long ago going over all the new positions that were available. And, and other news, I have been added into the Diablo Partner Program, so you'll see that on my live streams. You'll also see that on my videos. A couple other people have gone into like what that involves and everything. I think I'll do a separate video on that. I just happened to go to jump into Battlegrounds today. I'm like, you know what? I've been wanting to put up this video for a minute now. So focus on this. I'll do another video on that. Again, obviously Blizzard's not paying me for any of my content. None of my content is going to change. They offered this to me based on what I was already doing, so I'm going to keep doing what I have been doing. So expect the same content, and probably, if not anything, just more content coming from me. My main focus is still going to be on Twitch, though, most likely, but I will be posting videos as often as I possibly can. So let's go through this build here. We're running the Sanctuary Stun Circle, Forbidden City. Inner Sanctuary now stuns damages enemies that enter or exit the circle, but no longer protects, obviously. Inner Sanctuary cooldown decreased by 18% from the chest piece. This whole build is focused around Inner Sanctuary. Yes, I'm sacrificing a little bit for that, but once you get used to playing Monk with this stun circle, you can manipulate so many things with it, and it becomes a really, really useful tool. I find it more effective than like Imprisoned Fist stuns, because you don't have to be in melee. There's been multiple times where I've been able to drop my stun circle, and then I'm able to play around that, where I don't burn cooldowns. I kind of run around, make someone kite me, try to burn their dashes or burn their attacks on me, trapping barbs inside of it, and then just running in and out of the circle without even attacking. I'm just running around my circle that I can run in and out of. They're forced to run through it and get stunned or run away from me. It is super helpful in that regard. Still using Shimmerlin. It's super OP. We all know why we're using Shimmerlin as a monk. Once I get the new shoulders, though, I might be dropping Shimmerlin and trying those out, but I've had terrible luck with getting Hell 8 essences. I've only gotten the offhand so far. So I use the Shimmerlin Wave of Light. I use the Traveling Scold, Mystic Strike Pants for the long-range Mystic Strike with a knockback. It also increases damage by 18%. We have the Teleport Shield of Zen. Now, this is one of the ones I went back to using. It's been kind of a waste originally, is what I thought, because it would get knocked out. These whale matches, they just breathe on me and my Shield of Zen's gone. So it's like, why am I running this? But the key has been using this teleport to get the hell out of the middle of everything. It'll usually hold up long enough for me to get a heal off before Sleeping Bile can kill me. The one thing I noticed I ran into with the other build that I ran, which basically I think was a similar build, but I had Kick added to this, and it basically was a lot of dashes. Now, the problem I would run into is now there's a new wizard spell that's got the Scorch, hits the ground, gigantic snowstorm on the ground. You run through there, you're going to get slowed, and then their tornadoes are going to hit you and freeze you. Shield of Zen lets me run through that. The other thing is getting out of the middle of everything. Like, I'll try to basically, I'll show you in a video here from a PvP match that I did. This video might be a little bit longer, but I wanted to go through everything kind of in detail, show you what's been useful for me and what's been working out the best. I've been able to rack up MVPs with this build, depending on the matchup, obviously, but the one that I'm going to show here, I didn't get the MVP, but it was a pretty solid performance, and it you get to see how I use the stun circle to kind of try to control the lanes. So we have the Shield of Zen teleport. It also has some cooldown reduction on Shield of Zen, which is nice. And one of the things I'm going to be focusing on eventually is trying to get at least one of my pieces of gear awakened so I can get some more cooldown reduction on Shield of Zen. And then I also use Inner Sanctuary duration increased by 39%. So effectively, my Inner Sanctuary is I only have 4 seconds of downtime, I think, is where I'm at right now. And actually, if I could get 2 things awakened, I would probably go with 1 on the Inner Sanctuary and then 1 on Shield of Zen. And then obviously 3, I would do 2 on Shield of Zen and 1 on Sanctuary, because I think if I just got 1 on Sanctuary, I can get it to where it's almost up 100% uptime. And that would be really difficult to deal with in the battlegrounds because it would always be on the ground. So yeah, that's my primary thing. Oh, also, I hit this 8% on Wave of Light on the charm the other day. I could not believe it. This charm is stacking up pretty solid now. All right, so using Fist of Thunder, obviously, I'm using Inner Sanctuary, Shield of Zen, Wave of Light, and Mystic Strike. That's the primary thing of the build. I'm also using 4-set Gloom. I've got the rings. This Gloom set has been amazing in Hell 7. I'm really not looking forward to rebuilding this one in Hell 8. And I use 2-set Vithus. 2-set Vithus helps me keep my, it helps with Shield of Zen. It also helps with my other builds. I primarily gear around PvP with a little bit of focus on PvE. So, like, I do enough damage that there's nothing really in PvE that's going to slow me down. So, like, I don't really have to focus on, like, ultimate PvE build. But what this does let me do is have a nice Shadow War build that I'm going to do another video on, because this one's been really effective. In a main battle with quite a few whales, I've been able to actually come in the top 5 in damage in the main battle in the clan. So it's a pretty effective, solid build. It lets you stay mobile and do it and dump damage. But the running the 4-set Gloom and the 2-set Urge kind of lets it bleed over back and forth between all my builds. It's the best of both worlds. I would probably maybe optimize this with, now my Shield of Zen, I don't need much uptime with it. Granted, it helps, but you know, it's gonna get knocked off quick. The main thing about Shield of Zen is getting out and healing up, or being able to just run through some CC that's laid on the ground. So you could make this probably a little more effective with a little more burst damage and go with the 6-set Gloom. That would be something else to consider. So I think that's basic rundown of it. Let's go ahead and switch over to the browser here, and we'll check out this match. Now, basically the opening is you want your Shield of Zen when you're going to burn down these things, because it's going to proc your Bottled Hope if you're running a Bottled Hope. So I'll usually do that. It'll also block some of the little bit of damage coming in, or some of these knockbacks. But one of the key things is getting in and protecting with that stun circle. It's so disruptive that I honestly, I don't even know if I could play Monk PvP without it, unless I had just like a ton of burst damage output and I really wasn't trying. I tend to try to play like a little bit more of a support role with it, but it's still, once you get used to playing with it, it just becomes an incredibly useful tool. Even if you're not so much doing a support role, you just want to do damage output. Now, the other thing I tend to do in PvP is I go back and forth between Gladiator and Survivor. So I run my when I start off in a match, I normally start with Survivor, because I don't want to burn a cheat death in this pointless area here where we're burning down the idols. There's really no point in doing that, at least in my opinion. I want to try to save that cheat death till we're pushing in the lanes, and it gives me a little bit more of it's going to be a little bit more useful there. So I'll usually just take the hit and lose a kill here if I have to in the beginning. Is there any volume on this, or it might be way low? But usually once I get down to the lane, I'll switch over to Gladiator. Sometimes I don't even do it. Honestly, it depends if I'm dying a lot or what the group composition is. But like this snow on the ground here is one of the reasons that I switched over to Shield of Zen again, because that thing, when I was trying to run the build without it, I could not get through there. It would slow me down, and I'd be guaranteed hit by the tornadoes, and I'd get locked up, CC'd, and killed. So let's see here. So I'm always trying to control the lane with the stun circle, trying to leave it drop down a little bit ahead of the idols, and basically, if I'm pushing on offense, I want to keep it a little bit ahead of the idol, so they got to work their way. When they're trying to defend against it, they're going to get stunned up. There's no way to really avoid it unless you have a teleport or your own sort of way to block CC. And because it stays on the ground and it stuns you every single time you pass through the barrier of it, I've seen people, like especially barbarians, I've gotten them caught up in it where like 6, 7, 8, 9 stuns because they're trying to charge to me, but they can't. They're going to get hit with the stun. They go in. Now they're trapped inside. And I can basically, that gives me the time to run around, let my cooldowns come back, heal up, whatever I need to do. Or just straight drop it and take off running and go heal or hide or whatever I need to do. So one of the ways being I'm 3240 res right now, and when you're getting put into some matches where there's stronger players, Monk is really, the longer I've played it, you get in, you do your thing, and you get out. And it's funny because I'll get called out for running away, and yes, you should be running away. You should be getting in there, dumping your damage, and running away. And then getting your cooldowns back, healing up, and coming back in and doing the same thing. And I do, basically, my method is doing that and trying to control as much of the movement in the lanes with that stun circle as possible. You drop the stun circle, and you have another wizard that could back you up with like a crystal inside of it, and it's like, it's one of the best lane control tools, I think, in these battlegrounds. Especially that combination, it's just wicked. And basically, sometimes I'll use it defensively just to just in a battle. I try to use it as optimally as possible, and it's usually with controlling the idol, pushing out in front of it and dropping a stun circle right on it. And I think that's the most effective use of it. And it works great on offense or defense. On defense, you want to get right onto the idol, drop the stun circle, because then their melee don't want to go inside of there, which is the way you have to push the idol in this game. You have to be on that idol pushing. And if you have a stun circle on there, they don't want to run into it. And then on offense, you want to get it out in front of the idol, which gives your team some time to stand on it and keep it pushing forward. Which, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it's pretty straightforward in what it does, how to control the lanes, but I don't think I could play Monk without it now. I've gotten so accustomed to using it, and I think it's such a useful tool. And I don't see it that often. I see a lot of people going out for the just raw damage output, lots of dashes, kicks, flying dragon, stuff like that. And I think that that's effective if you have good secondaries and higher res, because you want to be out there doing damage, getting the kills, and clearing the map for your teammates. But I don't know. Honestly, I think if I had 6,000 resonance, I'd probably still be using the same build. At least be trying it out. And I can't say that definitively because I'm not there, obviously, and I don't know what kind of matches I would be in. But I think also some of it, the Monk has so many viable options that it's also going to come down to your playstyle and how you feel comfortable and what skills you feel comfortable using. I've been able to pretty effectively manipulate this stun circle, which is why I really like this build. And I don't see myself switching it up. The one thing I do think I might try out is switching from Shimmerlin to the new shoulders, so I get the Vithu buff of increased attack speed with my crit chance, and instead of basically dumping with Shimmerlin, I'm going to be trying to get off as many primary attacks as possible. So we'll give that one a shot. And also what that does too is it will potentially open me up for another skill like a 7-sided strike, or maybe I could even add Flying Dragon back in there, so I'd have the increased attack speed from that. And Flying Dragon does do a decent amount of damage, but I do want to give that a shot once I get that essence, and I'll come back and I'll make another video reporting on that and see what I think. So we managed to get into the idle room here, and I feel like the stun circle played an effective role here. One of the big hitters on the other team was a barbarian, and the stun circle is one of the best, especially with all the barbs right now in Battlegrounds who have switched because of the Firestorm meta. The stun circle is very helpful in kind of controlling them. Now, if you got some of these matches I've been in the last couple of days with like 4 or 5 barbs, yeah, it's going to help, but you're going to get overrun with that many barbarians anyway. It all depends, but it's a very useful tool against barbarians because they only have one break CC that they can use, and it has a cooldown and everything like that. So, okay, they can get into it, but now they're stuck inside of it, and if they want to move around it and everything. See, that's another thing, too, when people are running away. If you can dash in with your primary attack and drop the stun circle, most likely you'll be able to stop them. They're going to want to keep running forward. They're going to get locked up in another stun, and you can kill them or just slow them down, whatever you need to do. So this has just been an overall helpful build in trying to not feed as many kills on offense and control the map pretty well with the stun circles, using your shield as Zen to get out and heal or get through some CC on the ground. See, like an instance like that is just get your Zen on and get out of there. Trying to avoid dying. I don't know what yeah, 15, 5, and 26. Pretty decent matchup. There was a few 5K players in here, so it wasn't like like I was just stomping on free-to-plays or something like that. So I usually don't get in matches with many free-to-plays. There might be one on each side. The most of my matches the last like week or two, actually during this reign, have been probably between 2,000 and 4,000 resonance or something like that, and I'm kind of right in the middle. So that is the breakdown of this build. I mean, this video's already gone longer than I kind of wanted to, but I think that gives a decent enough breakdown on everything there. Yeah, if you guys want to try it out, let me know what you think. And I will do another video on the Shadow War build because I feel like this has been a pretty solid build, especially if you... So my whole thing, like I said before, is PvP focus with PvE as a secondary. And I think this combination has worked out pretty well, and so much so that I'm pretty much going to replicate all of the same things going into Hell 8, other than trying out some of the new essences that are going to become available as I'm able to find them. So I also will do another video coming up here on the Diablo Partner Program. I'll probably get that up tomorrow or something like that. I'm going to try to get more videos out this week. I finally am caught up with most of my work today, so... I'm going to be live on Twitch for at least a few hours. I'm going to do the morning BGs, which are going to start in a few minutes, and then I'll probably run some dungeons after that and hang out. So if you got any questions, you want to talk about the build I'm just posted here, or have any other general questions about the game, come on over and hang out. And yeah, I think that's going to be it. Thank you all for watching. I'm glad to be getting back into the videos again, and expect a couple more this week, and I will see you guys in the next one. Come hang out at the Twitch, link in the description. Like, subscribe, share, all the good stuff, and see you guys in the next one. Later.